An old manor called the Clockhouse. 24 hours to investigate the hauntings.
Any spirits here?
Hello and welcome to Most Haunted. This week we brought you to the beautiful Surrey countryside with quaint villages and picturesque views. But behind the facade of quiet country life lies the Clockhouse, a place so haunted that the owner called us in to investigate. Tonight we're spending 24 hours to uncover the truth.
Deep in the Surrey Hills lies a manor that has housed families for over 900 years. It was built in the 12th century and was originally a farmhouse. In 1307, John Risbreg occupied the house with his family, but who occupied the house after that is unclear. Maybe tonight we will find out who it is that is making ghostly disturbances.
This is going to be a very interesting venue. There have been families living on this site for well over 900 years. But it's not terribly well documented, certainly not for the public view. You can't look up the details on the internet, get them from ghost books, or even history books for that matter.
I've lived next to the Clockhouse for 20 years, and ever since I've lived here, I've always admired this house. And saw it really falling into ruin, not ruin, but almost ruin, and I really wanted to get my hands on it and bring it back to how it used to be.
It's not an evil place, and as Fred said to me already, the previous occupants of the house want him to be here. He's renovating it. Now that's something else, of course, which causes ghostly activity, knocking of walls, bashing things about, even redecoration, causes ghosts to reappear. But in this case, they seem to be happy at what he's doing.
This is the oldest part of the property and it dates back to the 1200s. It also seems to be the safest because the owner's dog Freeway refuses to go into any other part of the house.
The dog is frightened of the property, and it's a huge dog, but it will only stay in the kitchen. It dare not venture out of the kitchen into another part of the building. It just stands and stares, looking into the corner of a room, as if something's standing there but he can't see it. Or all of a sudden, for no reason at all, its hackles stand up on its back and it starts to growl, which of course are signs that there is paranormal activity going on here in the building.
This corridor links with the Georgian part of the house, and witnesses have seen two monks standing in this very spot.
Everyone always refers to them as monks, but of course, up until 1534, this being a large manor house would have had its own priest here. At the time of Henry VIII, of course, they were building priest holes, and they've got one here in this property where Catholic priests would hide to avoid being captured and, of course, hanged, drawn and quartered by King Henry VIII's soldiers. So they're probably priests rather than monks. Two of them have been seen.
In this upstairs corridor, ghostly footsteps are heard regularly, and this door opens and closes on its own.
Just before I bought the Clockhouse, I was told about various things that had happened here. Footsteps that had been heard in the corridors, monks that had been seen, a woman in a bonnet. And it frightened me a little bit, but I still wanted the house, so I moved in. And the first night I moved in, I had about 3 or 4 people staying here with me. But after that night, it's felt like I should be here. It's felt like home. And since I've been restoring it, it's felt even more like home. It's as though that whatever's here wants me to do it, and they're happy with it, which makes me feel a lot better.
This is the most haunted room in the house, the living room. Strange myths have been caught on camera. A cavalier, a knight and a monk are all said to haunt this room, and hopefully we will catch them tonight.
If I hadn't taken the picture myself, I wouldn't have believed it. If someone had showed it to me, I would have thought, yeah, you've messed around with that, you've done it on a computer or something. But because I did it myself, I mean, I still really can't believe that we're sitting in this room full of the things that I saw. So I'm glad you're here today so we can maybe unravel some sort of mystery here.
The main room, which has the paranormal activity, does seem to have an atmosphere about it. Now, we do have photographic evidence which seems to show what is known as ectoplasmic mist. It's just kind of a fog on the photograph. This is quite common in places that are known to be haunted. Whether it is actually something to do with paranormal activity or whether it can be, you know, a camera fault, for instance, we don't know. But there was nobody in that room that was smoking, that is for sure. One thing we have to be wary of when we're doing an investigation at the Clockhouse is the fact that there are wooden floors all over the place. Now, these tend to creak very loudly when somebody walks on them. Also, the fact that the building will be creaking naturally when it cools down and warms up, so we have to take that into consideration and not jump to any conclusions without checking them first.
There's nothing that we've been given, there's not a lot we know. I couldn't really go away, pull it off the internet. But of course, Fred has got lots of names. I think he's got most of the occupants of the house over the years, but he hasn't told us yet. So it's going to be very interesting, and I'm hoping tonight that Fred will be with me when Derek's going round the place, and I'll be asking Fred, is that true? Did they live here? Or did they die here? And of course, as Longfellow once said, all houses wherein men have lived and died are haunted houses.
Our medium, Derek Acora, had no idea where he was spending the next 24 hours. The Clockhouse is a private dwelling with an unclear history. Fred Batt, the owner, was hopeful that Derek would be able to solve who or what was causing the ghostly phenomena.
I'm very aware just a moment ago, before we come through that aperture, of a symbol of a cross. And the cross is very, very, very important for an individual that walks this passageway. The cross is the symbol. I can't quite make it out yet, but I feel his energy is trying his best, bless him. He's a good, benign spirit. But now I'm aware, like I was, like a beckoning to come up this passageway.
Yeah, let's go.
And it's like as if I want to stop at this doorway. And like the spirit man's not blocking our passage, but just mentally, let's see what he's going to try and do. Oh, yeah, OK. He walks up and down this passageway and he causes, not to hurt people, that's for certain, the opposite, noises to take place here because of his movements and what have you, like walking, knocks and things like that. And as I got his outline, and his outline's now still here with me, I've got this like white background, you know, emblazoned here in front of me. I'm taking his body form just for the moment, and there's a really large red cross like this. Now, what this means, I don't know at this moment, but the pride and the proudness of... I feel he was a warrior of strength, a leader of men, and a link with something to do with... Thanks, Sam, bless you, because I wouldn't have known that, thank you. It would have been a leader of men and linked with the word Knight Templar. Knight Templar. And this is the symbol that I feel as if I've got directly in front of me. Now, his energy is here, but he's not, at this moment in time, giving what we call, other than a mental communication.
Is he, can you pick up whether it's just he comes in, he visits, or whether he's actually here all the time?
I believe that this soul is here all the time.
Right.
I don't think it's just a
visitation. So he's grounded then?
Yes.
Why?
Because he wishes to be. I don't feel that he's done, and you know, his history of himself going way back in time, that he's done anything despicable. I just feel that he hopefully we can establish later on in the investigation that it's so important that this man has got such a bond, such a strength to the beginnings of this property going way back.
Right.
A very good, proud man, and a man that stood for justice, and justice even to his last days on the physical earth. And maybe as we go further on, maybe then we can link it a bit more. Can we? Because it's like as if I'm drawn here. And as we're walking along now into this area, I just want to say I'm drawn so much so up there, up this stairwell. And I want to say there's also the essence, again, of walking these stairs, not with this person who I've just tried to link with, but a separate spirit person, a separate spirit entity. He is... Pardon?
Male or female?
Most definitely a male. A man that really basically would shimmy, if not walk, but this shimmying and covered up in gown covering, and it's like he makes his way into this area, and it's a physical bathroom. However, as I come down, if I may, and look into this aperture here, his energy's in there now. This is an area for him where he gains his energies and what have you.
Is he here all the time, or is he just visiting?
No, I feel he is resident. He's a good soul. I'm getting a full gown and a covering up of myself, and also, to a degree, a meditation, a prayer state of thought that comes, boom, to the forefront of my mind. Oh, there's two of them. There's two of them. Yes. Come on, come on. There's two monks here. There's two of them. They're brothers. Not brothers physically. There's two monks. They go in here. There's two of them. And the mentality that one relies on the other more than the other. They go away from this beautiful, beautiful home. They go away for some reason. They go across the water, and they come in. And it's like as if at times they're not in prayer state. They're sitting, they're resting. One of them, the energy is wanting to communicate. Thank you, Sam. Wants to communicate. Right. So as we go through this evening, he will do this.
Unbeknownst to Derek, he was about to experience a first in his mediumship. And unbeknownst to Fred, his reason for living at the Clockhouse was about to be revealed. A priest hole in the bathroom confirmed to us that priests did spend time in the manor, but we needed to know who they were.
The two of them that are coming in, very lovely souls, and they lived their lives, and they left their lives through the physical lives through natural means. They were not...
So what's can you find out what the connection is?
Thomas. Okay.
That's one of them's name.
Yes. He's the leader out of the two, the stronger of the two. The other one relied on him because he was very timid. Thomas was the strong one. This one here, who comes here, is totally different than the two monks. This one pushes this door open, tries to have a good laugh, if I may say. And he does this, you see. And he does that. He makes certain he does that noise. It's like he turns it, and then he brings it back. And I'm taking the place of his hand, the spirit hand, and that's how he does it. And he does it from the outside.
Why would he continually do that?
Because he wants to draw attention that he's here in the atmosphere.
Fred, is that right?
Yeah, I've had a builder working in here, and the door keeps opening when he's inside. He's shut the door properly.
Yes, see, when he's on the inside.
The normal knob, it closes, and you have to turn it to open it, and it's opened so many times.
That's
and
interesting. Yeah.
This is what he does from the outside. And someone said very quickly to me from the right-hand side, William.
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 And is this the man that opens
Yeah,
and closes
yeah,
the door?
William. William, it's like 3 names. William something, full name. He comes in. He also does, if I just open this again, there's also these windows here. And would cause probably noises and sensation towards the window. He's not, in actual fact, meaning any harm the soul. It's just wanting to draw attention.
So he's obviously he's got some sort of connection with the house.
Very
but
much
we need
so,
to know
going
what
back.
it is, what this William... Did he live here? Did he work here? What was his connection?
Can I just say these words?
Yeah.
Because it's been biting me all
Yeah.
evening, what have you. If I can quote this, and it's most important, more important than anything else, I feel, is the lovely gentleman here, Fred, OK, the owner of this building, OK, and I'll make the quote. This man has come back. This man belonged. This man still belongs. And the people and the souls that are here are so, so happy that this man, OK, is now the proud owner, and they're so happy he's doing what he's doing in restoration and what have you, and they're backing him all the way. This man is reincarnated from a time he owned and belonged here.
That's what I felt.
Because you said to me that you just felt you had to have this house.
I mean, recognition of reincarnation.
Yeah.
I'm actually experiencing it with us all tonight. Here we are. There's also a lady comes here. She's not present all the time.
Do you want to walk further?
Can we?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, wow. This is now... Oh, I want to come in here. I want...
Yes.
Oh, yes, look at the drawer of this. There's a lady. She belongs... I'm getting the name Elizabeth. Elizabeth, that was one of her names. I feel it was her first name. I also want to say, that door, that aperture, if I was to open that up and go, bump, 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 and take this on another floor and go up, and I want to say, the energy, when she tries her best, she loves this area, but it seems she loves the higher level that's now not longer here. It was like as if she was left. Her partner was slain. He didn't come back. And she comes through into this atmosphere time and time again. And it's like as if she's a lost soul. She's a good soul, though. And it's as if she's never, ever actually reunited with her loved one, her partner.
How old would you say you were?
Oh, gosh. As she's shown herself there, I would say probably no older than in her 30s.
Right.
A young woman. Now, what she does, she walks across from the doorwell, and it's as if like she's floating in actual fact, but she's not. It's on this level, away from this floor. She comes to this here. The energy would shift 1 or 2 or 3 implements here, swords and what have you. She feels happy here, but because she's had a history here, but she feels lost because she's not reunited with her loved one.
Who is a loved one?
Goes.
What?
Oh, wow. Right. The cross was, I don't know if anyone can see it, is emblazoned there now. Right. So it's something significant in time with this here. And the symbol, this lady and the cross, it goes back to this era, this time. Yes. Can I just say, I wanted to leave this lovely area here and just go a little bit further up the passageway.
Yeah, cool.
Now, as we come into the peacefulness and the serenity of this area, of this room, I'm getting a confliction, if that's the right word, a confliction of mind, of thought, stress, and we could say that kiddies and what have you. But no, not so. Because here, the way I can describe this atmosphere, this here at the moment, again, it's good, and I feel good about it, is that, or what they want to show me, is that something very important you've heard me talking about the hub of a particular property. And this area is the hub, to me, of this property. Absolutely.
Why?
Well, because in mind here, it's as if I feel as if decisions, big decision-making went on. And if I may say, because the good man is here with me now, I say to him now, with total respect, this is your place. This is your place, Fred, OK? This is your place where conditions were, not that the rest of it's not yours, but this was your joy, this area. And this is where you made your decisions, very just decisions as well, noble decisions, which were good. He was a very good man in his previous time.
He was. What sort of things are you picking up on that he did?
I feel that in the areas here, the land and what have you, his decisions were listened to. His decisions were not just listened to, but they were followed. Oh, God. He was very high esteem. Absolute. And people listened to. And he was just with people. He really was so just. And he would help souls. He would help them so much without giving it a thought. And because of his high esteem and what have you, people of the day couldn't really believe that someone would do that. His name, the way he was talked about, was just things that he did.
All the people that you've picked up on, are they all from the same era, or are they all from different eras?
No, they're different eras altogether. Those two darling, good-souled monks are on a different level. The person who comes on the hits him, I know it is. The man with the red emblazoned on his front is our man in front of us here, Fred. Reincarnated. They brought that back now. He's not a spirit, he's returned home. Fantastic! This is the most wonderful thing of my energy to date. Thanks, Sam. Thank you. OK, we've unravelled the mystery. And can I just say this to you? If you go back to and you check records, this is him back.
I'm just confused. Did you say William?
Yes.
Is this the same person that's opening the this isn't
got nothing to do with the opening and shutting
You just said
doors.
you saw a man that was dressed in this, who's Fred used to be.
That's him.
Who owned, and this was his place.
Yes.
So what would it be with a red cross across a?
Knights.
I want to go back to Knight Templar.
Knights Templars used to wear that sort of thing.
This man goes back. He's reincarnated from those times.
Wow. How do you feel when you hear things like that?
I wouldn't have paid for it. They used to pay for their own crusades. I wouldn't have done that. Maybe I did, I don't know.
Honest to God, I will never, I'm sure, experience this again. This has got to be, and I'll put this on record, the best, and I know spirits are listening, the best elevated experience up to date in my life and my mediumship. I'm so excited, because I've had it proven to me now about my, not theories, what they told me in the past about reincarnation and what have you. And I'm standing now in front of a man physically who is now incarnated, born again, come into his adult life, drawn back
Isn't that
to
amazing?
what belonged to him.
God.
This is exceptional to me.
I knew that anyway.
Did you?
I felt it, yeah.
Have you always felt this, Fred?
Yeah. 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Really? Would you not want to go back in the record books and find out exactly who lived here?
I've got all the records going back to 1207.
So we could find out who the man was with
yeah,
that's fantastic.
Baron de Risbroek.
Is that his name? So you knew?
Yeah.
He knew? Gosh. That's amazing.
Okay.
No, that's brilliant.
I'm just excited. Oh, no.
The thought of Fred being reincarnated and back in his home was a surreal experience for all of us. We don't know who was more delighted by this news, Derek or Fred. After a short break, we continued our investigation in the lounge with our night vision cameras.
I feel a presence, just as I'm talking, it's like spiritually is listening intently to what I'm saying. And again, I feel goodness about this name, Elizabeth. Absolute goodness. And it's like there's an invitation. What's actually happening in this home right now? There's an urgency of invitation to explore. This section of the wall here where this beautiful tapestry is, maybe if someone was sitting comfortable there, that there'd be a ruffling of the tapestry. Again, trying to draw attention.
No, I just saw a flash. Did you see a flash?
I saw a flash, but did you just breathe in my ear?
No, I was looking up there.
Okay.
You must have done. Just
I'm
breathe.
sure I didn't.
Just breathe now.
I'm breathing like that normally.
It actually made my hair.
Yeah. Now, that's because listening, I feel, you know, maybe we're going to get some little bit of activity coming now. In actual fact, if I was to go further over here, I would say right now, especially in this corner, I feel this like movement that comes across the room from the height and would finally stand there and peruse and watch. So I reckon there's got to have been not just spiritual manifestation here, but a real earnest attempt to draw attention. And I feel the build-up of that energy now. So I know for a fact, whoever this individual is, whether it be Elizabeth or what, I feel we're getting listened to now. Absolutely. So maybe later we may start to get conditions happening here. Who?
Right.
Say it again. Say it again. I've got the other one. All right, okay. Sam's just said to me the links that I got earlier in another room, there's another person that wants to inform us of his conditions around. And I gave the name linked with a monk called Tom, and now we get the other name called Ralph.
Ralph?
Ralph? Ralph, it sounds like. Ralph. Okay. Now, these two, one of them relied on the other, and I feel the name Ralph relied on the name Thomas, Tom. And I feel that we're going to, hopefully, with their efforts combined, we're going to get noises and activity. Maybe we're going to get some spiritual orbs, maybe we'll get them together, maybe singular. Would you, how do I put this? Sam said the requirement by these souls is to have the silence, to have the quietude.
So that we can't, we've just got to sit and be quiet.
I feel that's how we're going to, on this investigation, get the best results. I mean, we can sit and we can talk into the atmosphere, which will be a good thing, because they are all listening ears, and especially here in this property. And it's not a party game. It won't be a party game to them. They just earnestly, sincerely want to make the mark, do what they can, and then, you know, they're not objectionable whatsoever, even to things, manifestations, linked and caught on camera.
Right, okay.
They're so friendly.
Well, we'll see later on. We'll see if anything happens. This room makes me very sleepy. Does it not make you feel sleepy?
Whenever I walk in here, I feel a chill.
Do you?
But it feels nice.
Yes.
That's funny, because every time I've been in here, I'm absolutely roasting. Really hot.
This room in the house.
Really?
Really, yeah.
I just want to sleep.
It's very
And when we all came in here, we were just laughing and everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It does it to me every time I walk in the room. That's really sleepy.
Derek's suggestion of spending a short period of time sitting quietly seemed a good idea. Maybe these supposed timid spirits were more likely to show themselves if we didn't go looking for them, but sat and waited. The photograph that Fred had taken in the living room showed an unexplainable mist. Derek had mentioned that by sitting quietly we were more likely to experience paranormal activity, and that's exactly what we did. Derek, Carl the producer and Richard Felix sat in the living room and waited. and waited and waited. 3 hours later, Derek and Carl heard what sounded like footsteps coming from the corridor.
Is that central heating there, making that
I was
noise?
hearing that rattling noise going, yeah. There was a sequence, wasn't it? Bum, bum, bum,
Yeah,
bum.
it's almost either rattling or... Looks like something's creeping. Yeah, sort of footstep type.
Yeah. Do you hear that? It's happening now. It's happening.
I'll get outside that door because somebody's definitely out there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Can I go out there?
Yes, it's not dangerous, Carl. Standing in that doorway. He was standing here. He was in this like uniform. Here? Yeah, it was here. There. Just by that window. Shh. Do you hear him?
Do you hear that?
Yeah. He's in there.
That was definitely the noise, wasn't it?
Yes. Without a doubt.
We were just sitting in the other room being very quiet.
Yeah.
We heard a noise which sounded like footsteps, but rapping, but it was thud, 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 thud. Hopefully we caught that on camera.
Yes.
Sound.
Yeah.
So he's here.
Yes. His atmosphere. He's in this atmosphere now.
Feels very nice though.
Doesn't it?
It's
It's
very-
not bad. It's, you know.
lovely.
After 3 hours of desperately trying to will anything to happen, the crew's enthusiasm was starting to wane. There was only so much sitting and waiting we could cope with. I decided that now would be a good time to sneak off and investigate the house on my own. Motion detectors were set up along the upstairs corridor, and locked-off night vision cameras were positioned in various rooms, in hopes that we might catch something paranormal on camera.
My heart is racing. I don't know where to go first. I'm actually very nervous. I'm doing this for everybody out there who is fed up of me running and screaming, so this is for all of you lot out there, okay? I know you think I'm a wimp. Where shall I go first? Well, maybe we'll try this room here that the door is opening and shutting continually. Okay. Oh, I really don't like this at all. One thing with this house is it's really, really, really quiet. Very quiet. Too quiet. What is that? Why is that gone off? Why is that gone off? I'm too scared to move. I'm too scared to move. Oh, for God's sake, get with it. Okay. We're okay. Right. It's an okay room. I don't feel funny, I'm just very hot. There's a fireplace here. That means something is moving in the hallway. Gotta go and look at it. Gotta go and look at it. if I were to sit here in the hallway, because if the beam things are going off, and that means there's some movement here. So if I'm really brave... God, it's so hot in here, it's boiling. Okay. If I sit here, then, for a little bit, because opposite me is the living room, which I'll go into in a minute. This is the corridor upstairs, where things have been seen and felt. And this is also the corridor where Derek and Carl heard that noise. If there is anybody here, any spirits here... Okay, well, what's just happened is it's really, really weird. All the cameras that we've been using have been fully charged. They've each had like 270 odd minutes on the battery. 2 of the cameras have been totally drained. It was coming from the living room. Can't see anything or feel anything here. No, nothing here. See anything. Okay, this is going to sound really peculiar, but it's like I'm suddenly getting chills on my back. It's like I feel like there's something up here in the corridor with me. Cold blasts of air. It's really hot, and yet cold blasts of air are coming down it. It's really peculiar, and I just got this sense I just don't want to go to the other end of the corridor.
The night's investigation was quiet. Nevertheless, we did experience a few strange incidents. The strange raps that Derek and Carl heard, and the motion detectors going off in the corridor without any explanation, and the batteries being completely drained of power. But best of all was a completely separate piece of evidence that was linked with Fred and not the house. During one of our breaks, Derek was feeling the presence of a woman who seemed to enjoy Fred's company.
Well, I got just the head and shoulders, and I saw the hair, and I felt as if the hair was a light colour, then I seemed to get a lighter tone, and as it was developing lighter and lighter, and I said these words, it reminds me a little bit of the way Marilyn Monroe, I said that tonight, Monroe, and the look, and I couldn't get no more other than Ruth.
My club, Ruth Ellis, the last woman that was hung, used to work. But people have seen a blonde woman walk through fire exit doors that are closed in the club.
Can I say we're ground floor? Thought has taken me up high into like rooms, not the ground floor, upstairs.
Upstairs here or in...
No, something to do with this club.
Yeah.
And upstairs, she's not grounded in the club. She's constantly in visitation. She has got a rightful place, but she comes back because that's what she wants to do. This woman travelled with you. Interest. Oh, wonder where he's going. Let's have a look. Let's go in the big posh car. And, you know, she is made also in her fascination, before you've gone on that journey back, She is gone with fascination, and where would you believe that she heads for? She heads for that lounge. More so there.
It's been a real privilege to come into a place like this. It's a warm, friendly place. It's being renovated by Fred to such a fantastic degree that it's coming to life again as it did all those years ago.
When I first entered into this beautiful, beautiful home, the peace, the harmony and the tranquility hit me from head to toe. And I thought, this is different.
Derek came up with quite a lot of stuff that have been recorded. He came up with the Knights Templar, who I think are still connected with the village even to this day. And of course this incredible revelation about Fred being a reincarnation of one of these people that actually went off to the Crusades hundreds and hundreds of years ago. It's fate. It's as if he's come back for a reason, and I presume the reason is to take over the place and renovate it as he is doing.
Now, Derek came up with quite a strong connection with Ruth Ellis, which surprised us all, mainly because there is no known connection with Ruth Ellis and the building. Now, there is a connection with Fred Batt's business. He owns Caesar's nightclub in London, which reputedly is haunted by Ruth Ellis. And with such a strong connection, I feel that we have to take the team to Caesar's nightclub to see if we can come up with any further evidence for that.
The ghosts that are here, and I'm sure there are ghosts here, because things have happened, but I'm sure that they are very happy, friendly ghosts, and so they're not going to be banging around during the night trying to create attention to themselves. And so, although not a lot actually happened, another very interesting site, and a haunted building, but a happy haunted building. Makes quite a change, actually.
When you're doing ghost investigations, by their very nature, they are spontaneous cases, which means that phenomena doesn't happen with any sort of regularity. So often you could be sitting in a haunted location and it's just a waiting game. And because it's late at night, because nothing is happening, you can just get very, very tired. And I think that's essentially what's happening here.
I'm too scared to move. Oh, for God's sake, get with it.
We see Yvette in the Clockhouse on her own. It's very, very dark. In this sort of situation, you'd be very, very scared. Because it's dark, there's nobody around, your imagination would run wild and start to play tricks on you. So all credit to Yvette for being brave and being in that location by herself.
We're okay.
Here we have a photograph taken by Fred in the Clockhouse. It's known as a wisp. Now, in terms of natural explanations for what this could be, yes, it could actually be a wisp of smoke, although in this particular instance, Fred said that he wasn't smoking at the time and didn't see any smoke in front of the camera. Another explanation could be to do with some sort of light reflection on the lens or in developing. Now, these particular photographs are quite common, but there's something that ghost investigators aim to get. Because a lot of investigators will hold that up and say that's evidence of a spirit, an apparition of some sort.
This woman travelled with you. Interest. Oh, wonder where he's going. Let's have a look. Let's go in the big posh car.
Derek is picking up the spirit of Ruth Ellis. And what's interesting here is Ruth Ellis is not necessarily associated with the location, but actually with Fred, who's the owner of the Clockhouse, and also Caesar's nightclub, a location that Most Haunted is also involved in. So the connection is not with the location, but with an actual person. And hauntings, by their very definition, are simply apparitions or ghostly phenomena at a location. What's more rare is ghost connection with a person. And it'll be interesting to see if any more information comes from Derek as, you know, Fred is more involved.
But people have seen a blonde woman walk through fire exit doors that are closed in the club.
So is the Clockhouse haunted? The photograph taken by Fred suggests that there was something in the room with him. Whether there is a rational explanation for the mist, we will never know. According to Derek, there is spirit activity, but the skeptics amongst us are less convinced. Our next investigation has to be at Caesar's nightclub in London. Would we find the ghost of the last woman to be hanged in Britain, Ruth Ellis? And how would we cope staying in a location where even the owner, Fred, and his staff are too terrified to go into certain areas alone?
Please try to show us yourself.
Do us all a favour and show yourself.